Welcome back to our lesson on writing effective sentences, Part B. Now, if you'll recall, in our first half of this lesson, we talked about combining sentences and ways to do that. We talked about combining sentences through inserting a word, through inserting a phrase, through doing compound sentences and compound verbs, by making or creating a compound sentence, or by creating complex sentences. Now we're going to look at the second half of writing effective sentences, and that is how to improve style. So we're going to join the lesson, make it more effective. The ways that you can do this are using parallel structure, revising stringy sentences, revising wordy sentences, varying your sentence beginning, and varying your sentence structure. Using parallel structure. Parallel structure means to use the same grammatical form or structures to balance related ideas and sentences. Kind of a hard definition to understand, but you'll understand it when you see the examples. So let's look at this. Not parallel. He learned 3 things: shooting, passing, and how to dribble. So we have the gerund shooting, the gerund passing, and then we have a phrase, how to dribble. Rewriting that is a parallel sentence. It would be he learned 3 things: shooting, passing, dribbling. You have 3 gerunds. Our second example. A good coach must learn to communicate with players to organize a schedule and adversity. So you have 2 phrases and a noun. Okay, let's make that parallel with 3 phrases. A good coach must learn to communicate with his players, to organize a schedule, and to handle adversity. So the first way you can improve your style is to make sure you're using parallel structure within your sentences. The second way is to revise stringy sentences. And a lot of you are guilty of stringy sentences. A stringy sentence is a sentence that has too many independent clauses, and they're joined together with conjunctions like and but. Let's look at this example. I was going on a fishing trip with my uncle, and I knew I would need a lot of lunch, and I always fish in the same spot that my uncle does, but he always catches more than I do. But this time I bought all my fishing lures so that I would be prepared. That whole thing is one sentence, strung together with ands and buts. A lot of you are guilty of this, so pay attention to this one. To fix stringy sentences, you can break the sentences into 2 or more shorter sentences, turn some of the independent clauses into subordinate clauses and phrases. Oh, yes, there's only 2 of them. I was thinking there was 3. So let's look at this as an example of how to fix it. I was going on a fishing trip with my uncle, and I knew I'd need a lot of luck. Although I always fish in the same spot that my uncle does, he always catches more than I do. This time I brought all my fishing lures so that I would be prepared. So notice we have broken that one sentence into 3 sentences here. In the first one, we've changed this first sentence here into a compound sentence with the conjunction and. The second sentence, we have a subordinate clause that is dependent on our independent clause here, and then the last one is just a simple sentence. Okay, so we have broken that 1 into 3. So this is another way to improve your style, is to revise stringy sentences. So the 2 ways we've had to improve style is to use parallel structure and then to revise your stringy sentences. The next way is to revise wordy sentences. And wordy sentences is just what it means. Its wordiness is the use of more words than necessary, or using the use of fancy words where simple ones would do. Let's look at this example. Anticipating tomorrow's forthcoming examination may be perplexing. I have made the astute conclusion that we should diligently scrutinize our scholarly tomes at the decline of the day. You look at that and probably say what? What kind of language is that? Let's look at it, what it really means. The test tomorrow may be hard, so let's study tonight. Okay, so we want to knock out all the extra words and all the highfalutin talk. The way you can do this to fix your wordy sentences is don't use more words than you need. Don't use fancy, difficult words where plain, simple ones will do the job. And don't repeat words or ideas unless it's absolutely necessary. So this is our third way to fix style. The first was use parallel sentence structure. The second was avoid or fix stringy sentences. And the third was to avoid or fix wordy sentences. The next way to improve your style is to vary your sentence beginning. Okay, change up the beginnings of your sentence and it'll add interest and variety to your writing. Let's look at this example. The pool was nearly empty on an early weekend morning. Dedicated swimmers swam multiple laps. A few sunbathers and parents with small children sat on the grass at the edge of the pool and watched. The day grew hotter and the sun rose higher. The pool became more crowded. The pool was soon filled with young people. They laughed as they played games and splashed each other. Okay, so we have basically all the same word beginnings here. We have the pool, a few, the day, the pool, they laughed. So it's kind of all the same beginning of our sentences. Instead of starting all of your sentence with subjects, try opening sentences with a variety of ways, with single word modifiers, with phrases, or with subordinating clauses. Let's look at this again. On an early weekend morning, the pool was nearly empty. Dedicated swimmers swam multiple laps. A few sunbathers and parents with small children sat on the grass at the edge of the pool and watched. As the day grew hotter and the sun rose higher, the pool became more crowded. Soon the pool was filled with young people. Laughing, they prepared as they splashed each other. Okay, so let's look at this. On an early weekend morning is a subordinating clause. Dedicated swimmers, subject and verb. A few sunbathers, subject and verb. As the day grew hotter and the sun rose higher, you have a subordinating clause. Soon the pool was filled with young people. That's a subject and verb. And laughing is a single word modifier. So you have a variety of ways in which this you can start your sentence. So now this example is from your book. And I'm not going to read through each of them, but it gives you examples of single word modifiers. Here you have an adverb and a couple participles. You have phrases that can start your sentence. And here we have prepositional phrase and a participial phrase. And then we have a couple examples of subordinate clauses. But when I ask you to edit your writing, one of the things I want you to look at is that you are varying your sentence beginning. And there's 3 ways right here that you can vary your sentence beginning. So you need to have this in your notes for easy reference. The last way that we can improve our style is to vary sentence structure. For varied, interesting paragraphs, it's sometimes not enough to just create sentences of different lengths. You need to use a variety of sentence structures. You need to mix simple, complex, compound, and complex compound in your writing. Let's look at this example and analyze it with me as I read it, what types of sentences these are. Okay. My sister went to college. She was nervous at first. She was determined to be a success. She worked hard every day. She graduated at the top of her class. I was proud of her. We celebrated after the ceremonies. We ate a big meal. My mother took pictures of the whole family. Okay, what kind of sentences are those? They're all simple sentences, right? Simple sentences make it monotonous and choppy. It's one thing we notice now because we've just gone through the combined sentences. It's choppy and it's monotonous. Okay, so let's look at this. Although she was nervous at first, my sister went to college. Because she was determined to be a success and because she worked hard, she graduated at the top of her class. I was proud of her. We celebrated after the ceremonies as we ate a big meal and my mother took pictures of the whole family. Okay, so let's look at this. Although she is nervous at first, my sister went to college. Complex sentence. Because she was determined to be a success and because she worked hard, she graduated at the top of her class. Complex sentence. I was proud of her. Simple sentence. We celebrated after the ceremonies as we ate a big meal and my mother took pictures of the whole family. Compound complex. Okay, so it changes the nature of your style if you use a variety of sentence structures. Notice the use of the subordinate clause improves some sentences and makes the paragraph clearer. And besides adding variety, subordinate clauses show how the ideas in the sentences are related. So, ways to improve your writing that we've looked at is first combining sentences by inserting words, inserting phrases, using compound subjects and compound words, creating compound sentences, and creating complex sentences. Then ways to improve your sentence style are using parallel structure, revising stringy sentences, revising wordy sentences, varying your sentence beginning, and varying your sentence structure.